I would say it's all one voice, right? And I think the voice is really being authentic. And I know that's a word that's easily thrown around right now, um, but really being authentic is really the key to the community, twofold. One, the types of writings that Josh initially started to do. Josh would go online for a little while. It went dark. The community, Josh wasn't posting, and he was struggling. He was struggling with just some real heavy choices in life and some depression. And he made a critical decision. He's like, okay, I have these people's ears every day, right? And I just disappeared for X number of days. What am I going to do? Am I just going to act like, oh, nothing went on? And he went on and he wrote about his depression in a very sincere and almost a very dangerous and yet courageous way. And so many people connected to it, right? In this day and age of social media where it's like everybody's perfect, everybody's on a vacation, everybody's, life is amazing. Here's someone who has a voice who's like, I'm struggling. I'm really struggling. And that was a turning point for him. And then when I came on to it, it was a turning point for me because it was like one of those things where it was like, wow, like you want people to know that stuff. Like you shouldn't write like that, And I saw how people were just yearning for true connection, right? They were really wanted it to be authentic. And that authenticity now is the way we do everything, right? Even as we've brought in brands, that wasn't easy. A lot of people are like, hey man, you're making money off of us and we don't like that, blah, blah, blah. And we never shy away from those questions. We never shy away from a really hard question. And subsequently, also with brands too, we're like, look at, if someone leans in with a really hard question or is really adversarial about your brand, that's okay. It's an opportunity for a real honest conversation. And that's not necessarily easy to hear, right? We do kind of set up some tenets where people, when they're unhappy with something, we're always like, look, you can be totally unhappy with something, you can disagree, but you can't be disagreeable and attack people personally, right? You can have a problem with an image or might not like it, and that's no problem. We'll totally have that conversation. But when it gets into personal attacks and stuff like that, the crazy thing is we used to have to kind of govern that a little bit. Now it's such an amazing community where it's self-governing, where people are like, hey man, you don't say stuff like that about people. Right? You can say something about their image, you don't like it or whatever, but just don't attack that person personally. And that I would say is one of the things that I'm most proud of, that it is, you just don't have a bunch of people saying horrific things to one another. So it's really encouraging. And because it's encouraging, it's also equally authentic in that when someone says something negative or supportive, you're hearing both ends, right? You're not just always hearing positive and you're not just always hearing negative, right? You're hearing a combination of those two. And that, I think people in this day and age are just dying for like truth and authenticity.